tonight on News 5 Live. Canadian murdered in Dangriga, but friends say there have been no investigation. Respected doctor dies in road accident. And Waterloo says it should be included as interested party in state bank suit against GOB. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, December 10th. I am Sabrina Daly. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Eamon Courtney, and United Nations Resident Coordinator, Birgit Gerstenberg, signed the 2022 to 2026 United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Framework at a ceremony in Belmopan on Thursday. This effort is the UN's response to the common development challenges of the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean. The document prioritizes outcomes in the region in 4 areas: economic resilience and shared prosperity, equal and well-being, resilience to climate change shocks and sustainable natural resource management, and peace, safety, justice, and the rule of law. These outcomes will be pursued in Belize by 19 UN agencies, government, national and international development partners, civil society, and the private sector.
Being a part of the Multi-Country Caribbean Framework, it benefits from regional solutions where they are relevant and will foster regional cooperation and integration by the UN agency funds and programs, and it's guided by the principle of no one leaving behind. I wish to highlight in this context that we discussed an agenda of strategic action with the aim specifically considering the impact that COVID-19 had and still has on the people, the economy, and particularly every part of our lives, globally, in the region, nationally, in communities locally. Above all, the Caribbean Cooperation Framework offers a strong basis for the partnership with the government and the people in Belize, since it is informed by national priorities and took on the results of broad-based multi-stakeholder consultations.
When one reads the document, it is clear that the outcomes describe a better Caribbean and a better Belize. But more than that, they describe a just society. And it seemed to me as I read the document again yesterday and last night, what really holds this document together? What binds it together? And I believe that the philosophical underpinning is justice. A more just Belize, economic justice, social justice, and environmental justice. The United Nations organizations and Belize will sign a document to collaborate on a more just Belize. But the question is, how are we going to achieve that? The plans are clearly laid out. The country implementation plan will be concluded and designed, and I have no doubt that it will be as clear as the MSDCF is. But I want to suggest and propose that there is an additional element which we must not forget, and again I believe touched on by CEO Arthurs. In order to achieve just societies in the Caribbean and Belize, we cannot forget the role of our citizens and the role of our people.
This is the second generation of this regional framework. Belize is the first of the 18 countries in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean to officially launch the new UN MSDCF. On Thursday, the attorney for Waterloo Investment Holdings, Belize Cruise Development Limited, and Belize Logistics Terminal Limited applied to the Supreme Court to join as an interested party to the ongoing case for judicial review by State Bank Enterprises against the Attorney General, NIAC, and DOE. Other cruise developer David Gegg's Port Magical Portico Enterprises is already an interested party on the case, as the judicial review regarding the environmental approval of his cruise port project has already been granted. In an affidavit filed by Alvaro Duran on behalf of State Bank, Duran posited that in approving the Port Magical project, the NIAC did not take into consideration the social and economic ramifications on the already approved State Bank project. In its original claim, the developers of State Bank asserts that, quote, the government of Belize, by the execution and entry of the definitive agreement and the subsequent passage of the State Bank Cruise Docking Facility Development Amendment Act 2017, created a legitimate expectation that the applicant would be the only cruise port in the Belize district. In the application, the CEO for Waterloo cited this as cause for the inclusion of the developers of the Port of Belize to be included as an interested party, because if this claim is upheld, then not only Portico Enterprises would be barred from proceeding with their development, but also any other potential port development, including that of Port of Belize. Also noted as a concern and reason for joining as an interested party is that in State Bank's claim, it notes that the DOE and NIAC did not consult with the developers of State Bank before approving the Portico Enterprise Port Magical project. On this basis, if the claim is upheld, then DOE and NIAC would have to consult with State Bank developers before deciding on whether to approve the EIA of Port of Belize. The court is expected to hear the application next week on whether the developers of Port of Belize will be allowed to join as an interested party. A doctor was killed in a collision in the Orange Walk district on Thursday night. Police say they responded to the scene at mile 20 on the Blue Creek Road and found a Toyota Hilux pickup on its side and a Ford Escort, both extensively damaged. Dr. Victor Khan is reported to have been driving the Escort when he lost control of the vehicle and collided into the Hilux, driven by Brendan Lopez, a customs officer of San Ignacio. Also inside the vehicle at the time were 3 police officers and 1 BDF soldier, who all sustained minor injuries. Dr. Khan was transported to the Orange Walk Hospital but pronounced dead on arrival. There's more news after the break, so stay with us.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, for we know that when this earthly tent we live in is taken down, that is, when we die and leave this earthly body, we will have a house in heaven, an eternal body made for us by God Himself and not with human hands. Recently, I read an unusual letter written by a dear child of God facing death to his body he had inhabited for many years, as he was about to move out of it into a more eternal one. He wrote, "You and I have been together for a long time in a most intimate and valuable relationship. Now you have grown old. Your hearing and strength are failing. Your resistance to cold is diminishing. You cannot climb and run as you once did. In a word, you're running down. In a short time, you will cease to breathe and your heart will stop beating. When you can go no further, you will be returned to the substance of which you were made, and I shall continue on in that life where you are not needed. A power greater than you and I started us on this journey together. Your journey is nearing its end, while my journey has scarcely begun. I know this to be true, for while you are feeble, I have never been more alive. Our separation, therefore, cannot be one of sadness, but will be one of joy. You are weary and want to stop. I am longing to alight from this slow vehicle and go on without you. Death will mean that your desire to stop is granted, and my longing is satisfied with this final move into my eternal body and home." Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
Improving lives, delivering quality. Water for you and me. In Belize, BWS, we make it happen.
For the immediate future, our entire country's focus is to ensure that each of us take adequate measures to mitigate against the COVID-19 pandemic. We all need to ensure frequent hand washing or sanitizing, regular disinfection of surfaces, constant social distancing, and a sufficient supply of sanitizing and cleansing material. At this critical time, a reliable supply of clean potable water is of utmost importance to ensure our health and peace of mind. Water is therefore a vital necessity to help us remain free from illness and ultimately to help Belize's economic recovery. Help us to help you by paying your water bill. Our return to a healthy and vibrant economy depends on you.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
The vaccine is now available. We here at Our Friend G Life encourage you to take the vaccine. Belize, it's time to roll up our sleeves.
I'm rolling up mine because I know what COVID can do to families.
Because I want to go back to the way things were.
I'm rolling up mine so that I'm able to do music again.
Because I want to protect my family.
Things are slowly getting back to normal. The new normal, which includes getting vaccinated. Trust the facts. When your turn comes, take the opportunity to get vaccinated. Roll up or believe.
A murder has been recorded in the south, despite no official report as yet from the Belize Police Department. 60-year-old Canadian national Jeffrey Richard Lewis was discovered dead at his property off the Melinda Road in a remote area of Dangriga. Lewis had been bludgeoned to death with a hammer and his decomposing body discovered on Tuesday morning by a neighbor who became suspicious after Lewis was not responding to calls or texts. But who wanted him dead and why? News 5's Dwayne Moody went looking for answers.
This sign did not stop the perpetrators who sometime between Saturday evening and Tuesday morning entered the property of Jeffrey Lewis and ended his life with a hammer on the second floor of an incomplete structure on the property. The retired Canadian had been living in a remote area off Melinda Road in Dangriga for about a decade. He was last seen alive by his close friend Karima Kalis on Saturday afternoon.
He wheel up a windshield for his car, and he get in the car and he gone.
What was the last time that you saw him alive? Because Monday you guys were supposed to do an errand, no? And he never did show up, right?
I call her Monday, but I still never get the boy. He still never got pushed down the back late. They never got cut the land. So I know the pressure because then I got my part to do before he come in call help call do for he part. Respond, but I know they think no way. I know they think they kind of way they, and then he just say, oh, he have a girlfriend. Saturday he tell me he have a girlfriend. So I think, well, you know.
Girlfriend,
yeah. So I know the. Now when I say I text her Tuesday, I text her, I call her, and then Monday when I log in for my phone now, I did so sit down now. I log in for my phone. I see he active 21 hours ago. I tell my mom, motherfucker, he never do that because he have internet for his phone. He live far, but he have everything comfortable.
So Tuesday morning around 11 o'clock, Kalis got her 8-year-old daughter ready and went looking for Lewis. And there she made the gruesome discovery of Lewis's decomposing body. He had been bound and his face covered with a blue blanket. Scenes of crime personnel who processed the scene report that a hammer was found next to the body and the Canadian national had been bludgeoned to death.
We walk under the house twice up because nobody know to move up to. Nobody know to move up to who I want. Nobody know to. And when time.
Talk about when you reached there. What time was it?
Like about 11, after 11, so because I never have no credits when I reach in the yard. When I reach in the yard, I say like conquer span the window, the buzzing song. I think that be one spell before. Then Dano. And then the vultures there, they fly over his house and thing, and I peep downstairs to see if a car there. And he carried me there. I gone halfway up the ladder and the scent. I had to come down back, but I had my daughter with me and she directed at the bottom of the ladder because one time we got her upstairs. She directed at the bottom of the ladder and I come down back. I don't gone up no more. I don't peep in to see how they may have her, but I see his foot. I peep in and I see his foot. The first thing came to my mind, maybe he must drop in a pain, and when I see the picture, then I see that yeah, he hand tie, they cover his head, they cover his head, so we don't see his face. I don't know where they do it. I don't know where they do it, but they cover his head.
The area is used as farmland. It is isolated and there's no electricity in the area. So who knew that he lived there, and why would they target Lewis? Was it a home invasion gone wrong? These are questions that have been playing over and over again among residents who say that Lewis was a loner for the most part, who had made Dangriga his home.
Yeah, we always help everybody. If you need anything, willingly here. Yeah, help you. Yeah, give you a job for do. Yeah, make you wash your car or something. Yeah, give you a job for do. I don't know why people think if that money, he not keep money like that for now. My friend smart. He way too smart. If he put down a pin here, he know that all the pin missing from there. When you go to his house, he precise about how he move his thing, about how he do his thing.
He wasn't known to give any trouble or had any issue with anybody.
No, that I know about. He the past year go do elite thing and he come back again and go to farm. Maybe the next day again.
Residents are calling for justice and want the police to properly investigate the murder.
If that business or if that problem we have with anybody, it would be like check the people there where he work, where he got right now to work for her, where he got previously to work for the people where he fired already for work for her, something like that. He have a book where he keep that in, right? His phone, when I call his phone me to ring up to.
You see, I guys leaving here, I close 5 o'clock. Because this place here get out of hand bad, they have gunshot. Every night nearly you hear gunshot bout here.
Lewis had no relatives living in Belize. Calais says that his relatives in Canada can reach out to her at phone numbers 608-1225 or 621-2761. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The University of Belize says it's remaining primarily online next semester, but it is preparing to welcome students back for a limited number of face-to-face classes in January. It will be a requirement, however, that students attending those sessions must be fully vaccinated. A release from the university says that all UB students must provide proof of vaccination by 31st December 2021 to your respective faculties in order to participate in face-to-face activities in the January to May 2022 semester. Since the university issued the release on Thursday, there have been questions about the extent of the school's programs that will be offering face-to-face classes. News 5 spoke via Zoom to interim president at the university, Vincent Palacio, today.
Coming semester in January, some of our courses, particularly those courses that has labs, that has field experience, we are proposing that these courses be face-to-face. The online courses, Paul, is here to stay. You know, we will continue to have online courses no matter what. But we have to start to bring people back to school, to the university on a face-to-face mode. So there are only some courses that we will phase in the face-to-face come January. The list of these courses are available for our students. There's a website that is posted that students can find out which of these courses will be face-to-face. And also, quite a few of our students have already pre-registered, they've early registered. So in their portals, they will know what courses are face-to-face and what are still online. So we encourage students to look at the portal to see what courses are still online or what will be face-to-face. And of course, to facilitate the face-to-face students, we're making the vaccination mandatory.
Pre-pandemic, only 10% of the university's courses were online. Today, the university operates its programs almost 100% virtually. The upside is the pandemic has forced the university to build its online capacity, which is paving the way for future online learning at the tertiary institution. But how have their students taken to the sudden change, and are they performing as well?
Looking at an analysis of this indeed, because it's important that we know how the students are performing. But it seems like it is the same. Students, the failure pass rate is the same on the online platform as they were face-to-face. So no noticeable difference at this point.
Any sort of challenges that they've been reporting when it comes to being online?
Of course, it comes with its challenges. One being some students not having access to the proper equipment. Having students have to attend class on a phone rather than a laptop or a tablet, where you could see a bigger screen and you could look at PowerPoint presentations better. Some students cannot afford that. Some students still cannot afford the internet to have access to some of the classes. So they would have to go to places where they would have Wi-Fi access to go to class. So these are some of the issues that we face. We still cannot mandate or make it mandatory that students use their camera in classes, because some students cannot afford the proper bandwidth to use a camera in class. So when this happens, then sometimes you're not in touch with the students, you're not seeing them. When you're doing the synchronous sessions, the live sessions, and some students may sign in and leave and come back and sign out. So they're not practically, sometimes they're not in class. So when you call on them, they're not responding. So these are some of the issues that we've faced with the online, but we're working on that.
Given these challenges and shortcomings, many students may welcome the phasing back into the face-to-face learning. The university may, however, receive some pushback over its vaccination mandate. The National Students Union has yet to form an opinion on the mandate. News 5 was told today the union executive will meet soon to discuss this and other issues. We asked Interim President Palacio if he anticipates any legal challenges to the mandate, considering there is no national vaccine mandate, and because many view education as a basic human right.
Good question. But we have to also take into consideration the health of all of our students. All right, and that is priority. And as a university, we're responsible to all of our students. And we figure the science is telling us at this time, the safest way is for them to be vaccinated when they come back. So we may deal with that when we cross that bridge, but we're catering to the welfare of our students and our faculty.
It says fully vaccinated, but I got a question about whether or not a student with one vaccine in the process of getting the second can attend in person.
Paul, this thing is out now. The semester opens mid-January. We have over a month for students to get their act together to make sure they have the required timeline after the vaccination. So, and again, the big word now is booster. Cannot probably mandate booster, but we encourage our students, encourage our faculty to do all that they need to do to make sure they get their vaccination.
Do you think that considerations will probably have to be given for some sort of exemptions where health issues are concerned, and would you guys be up for or open to considering those exemptions once they arise?
We probably will. We'll have to.
The impasse between the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association and the Belize Sugar Industries Limited continues to intensify. On Thursday, BSI issued a release saying it, quote, views with great concern the latest release issued by the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, unquote. In the release, BSI questioned whether BSCFA is demonstrating good faith by its, quote, rapidly rejection of BSI offer to discuss a proposal based on the association's, quote, concept of reforming the value share formula for payment, unquote. The release went on to note that BSI is disappointed the association does not seem interested in solving the commercial agreement impasse, but prefers instead to sign an interim agreement, unquote. BSI says it views this as kicking the can down the road once again, eroding the much-needed confidence to move the industry forward. BSI, in its release, also appears to be unhappy that the association has, quote, sought to involve the government in this private commercial matter, unquote. BSI maintained that its willingness to consider a revised cane payment structure is grounded on the principle that the agreement would be mutually beneficial. We will continue to follow. After the break, International Human Rights Day observed with a new book that will help you know your rights. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Have you gotten your Benny's dollars yet? If not, well, now is the time to do so. Why, you say? Because after December 31st, we will no longer be redeeming or issuing Benny's dollars. But don't worry, because in 2022, we will be celebrating our 75th anniversary. And we have new and exciting promotions, some great events and reward programs lined up just for you. Collect your Benny's dollars when you shop at any of our locations and redeem for cool gift items. And we have massive deals going on right now, so you can enjoy store-wide discounts. Remember to fill out the ticket portion for a chance to win the $10,000 grand prize on December 23rd. So stop in and shop to get your Benny's dollars and great deals only at Benny's.
Benny's, Benny's, oh, Benny's.
You inch your way to the edge of the board. Once you leap, there's no turning back. Your heart begins to race. You need to make a decision. Are you in or out?
Join us for our brand new series where we dive deep into what it looks like to make God our Lord of all or not at all. God doesn't want just the dip of our toes or a wade in the shallows. He wants all of us. We're in
or out.
We have been a partner with SMART for over 10 plus years. We have a full SMART plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this SMART service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our SMART service, we pay an average of about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to SMART because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
SMART continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Sexual assault. It is something that most victims do not care to talk about and perpetrators don't want to be identified with. And the laws concerning this can be complex and difficult to understand. But today, on the International Human Rights Day, with financial backing from the British High Commission, the Building People's Movement published a user-friendly book entitled Sexual Assault, Laws of Belize. Founding director of the movement, Dorla Bowman, said people have not kept abreast of the laws pertaining to sexual assault violations. When she spearheaded the Women Against Violation non-governmental organization almost 2 decades ago, Bowman had lobbied for a bill that would address the issues. This new book looks at the criminal code, the summary offenses legislation, the cybercrime legislation, the Commercial Sexual Exploitation of Children Prohibition Act, as well as the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Act and their corresponding penalties.
We had drafted a sexual assault bill. We did that twice, and we have not been successful yet in getting that tabled and passed. And we decided in the meanwhile, while we lobby for the Sexual Assault Act, that we should do a research and publish all the sexual assault laws as a public education tool. Our organization, Women Against Violence then, Building People Movement now, feel that legal reform is important and legal education is key. People need to know the laws and use the laws.
Attorney Leslie Mendez was contracted to review the current laws that govern sexual offenses in Belize. She told us that while there are various pieces of legislation, there were gaps that could be plugged. In other instances, identifying the applicable portions of law or understanding the highly technical language in which they are written was the challenge.
Usually exists is usually couched in very technical language, and so persons are not able to just easily understand it and translate it. So the idea really, and in particular for advocates that work for victims of sexual violence as well as civil society organizations, this is meant to be a reference for them so that they can have a comprehensible, easily understandable reference of where we stand with respect to the sexual related conduct that is criminalized in the country. One of the gaps that definitely jumped out at me, and one that has really been that has been still enduring in the Caribbean, in the Commonwealth Caribbean, is the conditional form of marital rape. So in order for there to be marital rape, it can only happen within certain conditions. And in fact, those conditions are either violence, where it's preceded by violence, or where there is some form of evidence that there has been some separation between the spouses. Other than that, marital rape per se does not exist or is not criminalized in Belize outside of these specific circumstances. One of the big ones that popped out at us was the lack of any offenses to cover harassment and sexual-related harassment online, for instance. And with the cyber crimes legislation, that has been addressed to some extent.
According to CEO of Counseling and Psychological Services, Deshane Gutierrez Lopez, victims of sexual assault live in a constant state of threat and need to talk to someone who is trustworthy in order to get rid of the psychological effects they carry with them.
Constant state of threat. They don't feel safe, they don't feel loved, they question their worthiness, and if they're enough. And that impacts how they show up for their families, how they work towards their goal if they believe that they work towards their goal. Oftentimes when we think about sexual abuse victims, we think about the persons who are alcoholics, we think about the persons who don't want to do anything. But what I also wanted to highlight today is talking about persons who use social appropriate form of coping, such as they work well in their academic performance or their job performances, but they struggle internally, and they're the one that struggle with depression that no one realizes. They're the one that it's hard for them to be able to really and deeply connect with people, and that also affects their offspring. And so now we have a generation of dysfunctional family because there are so many hurts, and even though their offspring may not have experienced this sexual violence for themselves, they still feel the impact of it. A lot of time people talk about anxiety. They don't want to experience their emotions because it's intense, right? And sometimes there's a feeling of numbness where they don't have feelings, and it's always difficult, and regardless of the age. So whether you were harmed when you were young, when you're an adult, as you age, that continues to linger, right? And so I would always recommend people to get the therapy, get the healing process.
Bowman says her NGO has sufficient funds to print sufficient copies of the book to distribute countrywide. Digital copies will also be made available on the internet. Just ahead, changes ahead for the management of the Chicky Bull. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
This weather update is brought to you by SMART. This weather update was brought to you by SMART.
Merry Christmas, Belize! And to make it merrier, Brothers Habet and Habet have some great gifts for you. Like 15% off all decorative paints. That's Penta, Domestic, Dutch Boy, Berger, and Valspar. 15% off all power tools from top brands like Stanley, Black & Decker, DeWalt, Skill, and Bosch. 15% off Simpson generators and pressure washers. And 15% off Sunlight windows and doors. Plus, check out our clearance section with lots of good stuff, from 30 to 60% off. And of course, we're giving away $500 gift certificates to 12 lucky customers every day for our annual 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Every $50 you spend gets you a chance to win. The merriest place to be this Christmas is Brothers Habet and Habet. So stop in today to pick up your gifts and fix up the place.
UNICEF commemorates 75 years as a leading organization working for every child in Belize and around the world. Join in this milestone celebration on Saturday, December 11th for a time of reflection on UNICEF's history, achievements, and the fundamental stakeholders involved. The event will be aired here on Channel 5 and streamed on Facebook and YouTube commencing at 4:45 p.m. Participate in fun trivia to win awesome prizes online. For every child, UNICEF celebrates its 75th anniversary of service in Belize.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
Sometimes it's easy to forget. So here's a reminder why we all need to get vaccinated. COVID-19 has rapidly become one of the most contagious and potentially deadly diseases in history. Oh, and as we adjusted to it, it mutated. And now we have variants like the Delta that are somehow even more contagious and deadly. We know how this thing spreads and how to stop it. We have to take the proper health precautions all the time and make sure that you and everybody you know gets vaccinated. Vaccines save lives and greatly reduce the risk of hospitalization and death. Get the facts, then get vaccinated.
The Chiquibowl Forest Reserve and other dense jungle spaces in Belize have been areas of contention for Belizean law enforcement authorities and Guatemalan encroachers from time to time. Often enough, Friends for Conservation and Development, accompanied by Belize Defense Force and immigration personnel, apprehend illegal loggers, poachers, gold panners, and cattle ranchers. Now, there is a proposal by government to reclassify the Western Maya Mountains protected areas as the Chiquibowl Mountain Pine Ridge Landscape Conservation Trust and to nominate the Chiquibowl Forest as Belize's second World Heritage Site. The announcement came on the occasion of the Friends for Conservation and Development's 22nd Annual General Meeting last Saturday. Guest speaker at the event was the Minister of Sustainable Development, Orlando Habet. FCD's Executive Director, Rafael Manzanero, explained what the new approach looks like for the management of the vast expanses of forest.
It did inform the audience that indeed the government is moving towards that manifesto goal and objective of looking at a reclassification of the Chiquibowl Maya Mountains in the Landscape Conservation Trust, which is one of those that we have also been recommending for quite some years. That would really mean, in a way, Marion, a consolidation of efforts in the area. That includes the Mountain Pine Ridge, the Chiquibowl, and also there is the Caracol Complex, which is a part of that. So that would be one of those sort of consolidations. It has been a recommendation also that has been given for quite some years, I must say. The matter is how to really provide a governance framework and to define the roles and responsibilities for us. It would basically also be able to give us a platform for us to operate at a much more scale of a landscape, which is also critically important in terms of management for us. What it really means is how do we better consolidate, which basically means amalgamate efforts that are already there to ensure then that there is a more joint effort of cooperation in terms of management. Caracol, as how you all know, is under the management of NICH. There is a patrol system ongoing there with the Belize Defense Force and FCD Valentin Conservation Post. But the question then becomes, how is that managed altogether as one of those sections that is from the broader picture? So it's consolidation of management. What does it really mean for management in the Mountain Pine Ridge? Well, that is under the Forest Department. It doesn't mean that FCD will entirely manage that area. You know, it basically means doing, I would hope, a more holistic plan of management instead of being different pieces or piecemeal, that it is really more at the landscape level of bringing more those stakeholders and agencies and NGOs.
But to have much better management of a much broader area, there needs to be a clear definition of the responsibilities for each agencies involved. Manganero says that part of the plan is still in the making.
Marion, all of these areas are already under protection, so it is nothing really new. Some of them already have management plans. For example, the Mountain Pine Ridge, they have just finalized a management plan for the area, or from what I understand, it is pretty much on the last end of finalizing that management agreement. The Chiquibul National Park, we have just also finalized a review. So that would be an updated management plan there. Caracol may probably also have on the same kind of the context of niche, they would have some management regime. The Chiquibul Forest Reserve, which is really more for extraction of timber, there are also management regimes for the utilization of those resources. So in a way, there's already data in. But I think that's also, one of the key points also, Ali, is the matter of consultations. There have been also consultations done, some, in fact, up until last year, the Sustainable Development Plan for the Mountain Pine Ridge and Chiquibul, it was, and Caracol. There is a sustainable management plan that was developed for that. So there's already foundations. The issue has been the governance framework. What is the role of the FCD? What is the role of the other institutions? Does it really mean, we already are going to have rangers in the Baldy Beacon area of the Mountain Pine Ridge. But these are still sort of isolated kind of activities. How do we are able to do a bigger or a larger kind of a context of framework of governance? Not only for
In regional news, Nicaragua has become the latest country to side with China over Taiwan, cutting all diplomatic ties with the island nation. According to international news outlets, Taiwan said it is deeply saddened that Nicaragua had disregarded many years of friendship. Beijing continues to see Taiwan as a breakaway province to be unified with the mainland one day, but Taiwan considers itself independent. Since 2016, Taiwan's international allies have decreased from 21 to only 14, including Belize. While China celebrated the move as the, quote, the right choice in line with the global trend, the U.S. State Department criticized the action, saying it did not reflect the views of the Nicaraguan people because Nicaragua's government was not freely elected. Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a statement that it would consider to promote pragmatic diplomacy and that it had the right to exchange and develop diplomatic relations with other countries. Up next, the last night of Gimme 5 Gimme Aways. Are you ready to win?
Following the COVID-19 vaccination, some people may experience side effects such as soreness at the injection site, chills, nausea, body aches, or a fever. But these symptoms go away after a few days. These side effects are a result of your immune system responding to the vaccine and are not a sign that you are sick with COVID-19. The COVID-19 vaccines will not give you COVID. When you receive your vaccine, the health worker will advise you what to take if you are experiencing any of these side effects. Remember, these mild side effects cannot compare to you not being able to share memorable moments with your family and friends if you fall gravely ill from COVID. Vaccines bring us closer.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
When something is good and you can save, that makes it even better. Like this guy, he buys Flex bundles using his promo credit. No worries when his primary credit is finished. He gets talk, text, and data for free. Or her, she calls her family internationally with her promo credit. And with data packages so affordable, she even does video calls. Smart continues to offer great deals and affordable promotions. As a small business owner, she saves when she uses her promo credit to call the other guys. All Smart customers enjoy more triple days and knowing they can use their promo credit, which just lasts longer. Smart, bringing people together.
With apple sausage. I'm going to take 3 eggs, 3 egg yolks. I like to cook my eggs right on top of the stove in a metal bowl.
NextGen, the preferred service provider for the ultimate digital experience. Easier ways to connect, create, and share.
Devoted Channel 5 viewers know that all of this week, like every year around this time, there has been our nightly Gimme 5 show. Tonight is the last night with your hosts, William Neal and myself. To get you in the mood for the fabulous prizes tonight, here are some highlights from this week's show and the winning draws.
Feel good about this. I feel good about this. Yes. Number 5, let's go.
Give me 5.
Yes! Chantel!
Winner, chicken dinner!
Chantel. Listen, congratulations. Hello? Okay, it's okay. All right. Make a tell her where Chantel win.
All right. When the phone ring, don't say hello. You say, give me 5.
Yes! Dorita.
Dorita, you know we are making a song quick out there. Congratulations, Dee. How you feeling? Well, Dorita, Billy said it right?
Yeah.
All right. I think it looks like it.
Think so.
Give me 5.
So good luck to all of you who have your tickets in the barrel for tonight. And remember, if you don't win this year, there's always 2022. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.